it's too big a leap for most companies to go from a very stilted, very canned, very carefully presented image to the wild west of anything goes in a hangout, perhaps, where you just simply cannot control anything. And even if you control it in terms of rehearsing the message you're going to give to your audience, there's still no guarantee that it's going to be perceived the way you expect. There's no guarantee that the brand value is going to resonate, and the whole thing may still backfire. So really, what they would be very comfortable with is a sort of very canned, very packaged, very professionalized kind of broadcast platform, which wouldn't have any of this, but still would be called video. But again, we know these don't work very well, and we've seen examples. When we did look at the stats of the Hangout for Walking Dead, for instance, it's a very strong brand with a very passionate audience. They had a lot less resonance, a lot less response, and an incredibly small reach compared to the social media today.
Right.
Where we basically engage the audience, and we're very open about it, and we are willing to engage in a conversation and actually expand it well beyond the remit of the Hangout on air itself.
Absolutely, and I mean, it's still going down. There are people that are finding that article, commenting on it. It's a solid chunk of content. It's not thin.
Yes, which brings us to the value of what you do, essentially, because by merging to a certain degree a guarantee of the broadcast values of the brand, which happens in the wrapping, in the pre-show activity, in the post-show activity, in the framing of the conversation, and then adding the interaction and the engagement, it becomes a very guided sort of level of engagement, which helps both the audience and the brand reach a certain level of comfort with each other. And I think this is the real magic, really, because suddenly you realize, okay, it's a big brand, and it has specific ways of doing it, or it's a business and it wants to sell, but at the same time, there are people behind it. They have concerns, they have values, they have ideas, hopes, dreams, and so do we. And at some point, those things overlap. And the moment that happens, then you realize, hey, we align, we are reaching some kind of connection. There's an emotional impact point where you think, yeah, I like these guys.
Right.
And that's the power of that kind of engagement. And by approaching the way you have done it, it's a nice bridging point where you go from brand image to still brand image, but now brand image with engagement and interaction, which allows that comfort zone to be created. So it's not as wild and uncontrolled as a sort of plain vanilla hangout on air.